So every week we put out multiple episodes to help you on your jiu-jitsu journey. Now, it's a privilege for us to be in this position, but we want to ask one thing from you. And this is a very small gesture on your part, but it means the world to us. Simply hit the follow or subscribe button on whichever platform you enjoy this podcast on. It means the world to us. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what is going on. Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul. The fight happened. It kind of was a little predictable. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Just the tough thing about it is it just starts to give more credit to Jake Paul. More than he deserves, I feel. And yeah, he's kind of like the Craig Jones of boxing. He picks somebody who was famous for something else and is maybe a little bit past their prime and then makes a name on them.
Was that a bit of a slur on your boy Craig?
Well, no, that's his strategy. How many out of shape MMA fighters has he fought? He fucking rolled Anthony Rumble Johnson, didn't he, and submitted him?
Oh, okay, yeah, but he hasn't built his career off that.
Yeah, he has. 100% he has. I think he's built his career off his jiu-jitsu.
No.
Yeah.
Against top jiu-jitsu players.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you look at super fights, he's got, Anyway, we won't go too hard on that.
He hasn't built his career off that shit, bro.
How many out of shape MMA fighters or
I don't even know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't.
But that's what I mean is that like that shit happened. Like he's not like I know him for like his serious career wins.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying he built his career to get to that stage. For him to get as famous as he is, he wasn't achieved for a certain period of time. He made that over time. The way he has kept his career going and kept his fame going, he's like, oh, Dorino, you haven't done jiu-jitsu for a long time. Okay. I'll call out Dorino.
Sure.
He doesn't know this game. I'm going to get that guy. Oh, who else is really famous?
And who building it at two different
Tim
things.
Tim Spriggs. I could get Tim Spriggs. Tim Spriggs will fight. He's a previous world champion. Oh, I beat that world champion. And it's genius, right? There's a strategy to that. And I believe Jake Paul's doing something similar. Is Jake Paul as great as Nate Diaz? No. No way. But now he's fought him and he's beaten him convincingly. It's like, that sucks. Nate shouldn't have taken that fight. You know what I mean? Because also Nate is a volume puncher. This is what I wanted to say. And Jake is a bit more of a big hitter. And that reflects better in boxing matches to be a big hitter and then land big punches.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, oh, shame. I kind of knew it would go that way. I didn't want it to.
Yeah, I was having the chat with Mies about it, and she was like, we all feel a bit of frustration about Jake Paul, right? You're like, fuck this fucking guy. Yeah, you got to respect he's got some skills.
Yeah,
you got to respect the fucking audacity of the guy to do what he's done.
Sure. Did you see that Disney clip where it's got him going like bibbity bobbity boo? Disney Channel with the wand. Next minute he's like, "What up, you Irish cunt?" Like. Like,
oh, right. Oh. This is like old, like young him.
It's like, but not even that long ago. Like, is this the same person?
But like a lot of people are like, oh, why doesn't he get in there and fight like actual world-class boxers? And you're like, well, he can't because he's not a world-class boxer.
And world-class boxers don't want to fight him.
Well, yeah, of course. But
it would not help them.
But he wouldn't last, right? He couldn't, I don't know what weight he would be, but like the Canelos and shit of the world, he's not at that level.
No.
Right? So he has to fight people that are slightly down. So in that way, it's somehow like there is some kind of fairness in how he's doing. It's like, I'm going to pick these people who are like previously top MMA fighters and fight them on their way out. Yeah. And you're like, okay, fair enough. Like you can see he has an advantage.
It's the money. It's the attention.
Of course. But just in terms of like that as a strategy, I'm like, I find it hard to hate on the guy because if they want to take the fight, then you're like, well, fair's fair. He took it. Even though it kind of irks me a bit, I'm like, well, he's playing a game and people choose to participate.
Sure. I still think I think you can still hold that stance. It's hate the player, not the game, even if the game's not what you want. Like, I don't agree.
You hate everyone, bro.
That's true. It's very true, actually.
Can get it. Y'all know that.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably my worst trait. I recreationally hate. Once I get a roll on, you get me hating something. Yeah, dude. I can find any reason. But did you see those sunglasses he wore?
Yeah.
I hate those sunglasses. Always. The reason why I bring this up and the reason why we talk about it isn't just that it just happened. This goes to another MMA fighter fighting a boxer.
Oh.
Ngannou versus Fury. Should Francis Ngannou take that fight? I I don't like. I know it's the fight he wanted, right? He wanted to fight a big name fighter, and he believes he can do it. I just think Tyson Fury. It's like if he can barely get knocked out by the best boxers in the world, even though Francis Ngannou has got big, heavy hands, he's not the best boxer in the world.
No, he's not. He's not like speed. He's not. Yeah.
Yeah, and so to me, it's just
Of course, but okay. So just you know, should he take it? Well, he's going to get paid a fuckload of money.
Sure.
I don't know. You got to assume that he doesn't expect to win.
No,
No.
I would say he does think he can knock.
Nah, I don't know.
Fury out.
I don't think he'd be that naive.
I don't think any fighter
in the
would
same
take
way
the
that when
fight.
Conor fought Floyd, I don't think he'd be that naive to think that. Of course, there's always a chance.
Yeah.
There's a chance I could do this. I'm gonna fucking do my best because
I don't know
imagine
what
if I did.
Conor has so much self-belief. I think he thought he could knock him
Nah,
out.
I think he knew he could make a gazillion dollars.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm probably going to lose, but I'm going to make a gazillion on this shit. And I think that it's probably the same for Francis. Surely, man. I mean, okay, maybe you have a point when you consider Francis's meteoric rise in MMA, right? 2 years and he became the heavyweight champ or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, he's not one of those guys that had to grind it out
and it's
for,
not like
for 12 years.
It's not like he doesn't knock people out. He does.
Yeah.
But he's knocked people out in 4-ounce gloves. That's very different to 10 or 12-ounce gloves. You know, like there is a lot to be said for there being more padding on the glove. That's why boxers can take more hits to the head. That's why a guy like Mike Tyson, or that's why a knockout in boxing is so sensational, because you've got this big pillow on your hand. If you can just hit someone hard enough with this huge pillow on your hand and they're tough as fuck and they go out, whoa, what would you do to a human with less padding on your hands? I think this is where MMA fighters...
Break all your bones in your hand.
yeah. Well, shout out to Bare Knuckle Boxing FC. There's some tough-handed people in there, right? No, it's just the shame for me is I believe Francis could have stayed and been a great heavyweight in the UFC, you know? And now he's gone to boxing. Can't see him, you know, he'll make money, but what does this then do for him, you know?
Yeah, I see it differently. Like, I think right on the guy, you know, because he stood his ground with the UFC, right?
He did.
And he's like, nah, I don't want that deal's not good enough for me.
Yep.
And then he went somewhere, and I don't know, but I'm sure he's going to make multiple millions from the few. And so I'm like, fuck, good on you, man. You're going and getting paid. Like, you wanted to get paid,
and
they weren't going to pay you. Now you're going there and you're getting paid.
That's cool.
And in a way, it's like, you know, I mean, you look at the UFC, man. Like, even
it's a pimp game.
It's a pimp game, and it's a tough way to make a dollar.
Yes.
You know, like, you look at what those guys have got to go through. No. Sure, you have those exceptional ones that make like the Conors and shit that can just make heaps at every fight. But the majority of them are like, I don't know, whatever, a couple hundred G's.
No, not even.
For a title fight, say though.
Not even.
No.
Like it's one of those things which is the dark side of it. And this is why for a while I was kind of
hating on it.
Yeah, you could say that. No, I just went away from it. It made me sad because I talked to some Australian MMA fighters and talked to them how much money they're making. And I was like, that sucks. Even if you're being successful, you know?
Yeah.
A guy like Jake Matthews.
Yeah.
Who's had quite a successful career. He's had plenty of wins.
Yeah, amazing fighter.
Yeah, great fighter. And really, I really wish to have seen
Probably
him.
just piecing it together though, isn't he?
I really
this fight pays to get through to the next one.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, and I can't talk like details there, but I do know that most fighters, if you look at the percentage of the money the UFC makes on a card, they only pay about 5% of that to all payments of fighters. If they make 200 million, they're only giving out about 2 million in payment.
One championship is coming.
Yeah, boy. So let's talk about this because there has been some conjecture and we don't know. It's not confirmed. There's a lot of rumors flying around the internet. Has the UFC bought Bellator?
Oh.
Because, why is this said? Recently, on the UFC website, Michael Venom Page, AJ McKee, and Patricky Pitbull Federer, who's also their champion, is now on the UFC roster.
Oh, really?
What are these guys now? Like, these are former champions and current champion of Bellator are now on the UFC roster. What does that mean?
Are you just browsing through the UFC webpage? How'd you come across that?
No, I've keeping my ear to the internet, dog. I'm like, whoa, what's hot?
Yeah, Dana.
Yeah, I was like, Dana, what's up, man? Did you get real mad? Did you like drunk
Dana,
dial?
I don't want to hate or anything.
But actually, look, I do. But it's what is interesting about this is the conjecture is, has Dana got so mad that Ngannou's play worked out that he's like, the PFL, I'm going to buy Bellator. Do you know what I mean? Because what they're saying is there's enough money in the UFC that ultimately they could buy every fight organization over time. Like it just becomes one big conglomerate. This is not saying it has happened.
You know what? I read a quote. Sorry to cut you off. A quote. So the UFC is known for making huge profits, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, 5% of their revenue, whatever, goes to the fighters, and then, whatever. Another 5% probably goes to expenses, and then 90% profit.
Dana.
It's probably huge.
Dana's getting $200 million a year.
But a quote from Jeff Bezos regarding his strategy with Amazon, which was that he said famously, "Your margins are my opportunity."
Exactly.
And so he's like, if you've got big profit margins, then I'm just going to come in, do what you do, but I'm going to do it better, and I'm going to drop the prices so there's no margin, and I'm going to take all your customers, and then I'm going to slowly wind the prices up and recreate the margin.
Time.
Yeah, and it's like maybe because people talk about one championship.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they pay their fighters really well. They look after them. There seems to be a huge amount of like reinvestment.
Yes.
And so you can only imagine that they're going, well, we're not trying to make we're not trying to hit a huge payday on every event. We're trying to run amazing events, build amazing, like support amazing athletes, and grow market share.
Yeah, and I believe
the Amazon of MMA.
Wow, there you go.
I'm about it.
Yeah, I think it's great, and I think the fact that their fights are free is huge.
Oh, bro.
And I think people are not valuing that just yet, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, that's where I actually think this is like leading on to another thing coming out of all this with the UFC Bellator One Championship. Will Buchecha be Jiu-Jitsu's best ever transitioned athlete? Because man,
MMA transition, just to clarify.
yeah, he's men's and women's category
division. Yeah.
No, but because the thing that's always hurt my heart as such the biggest fan and
don't talk about when Rodolfo got drunk.
No. Shoot, don't bring that up. That never happened.
Oh no, bro.
Don't say that. No. What hurts me is seeing great jiu-jitsu people come to MMA and not be as successful.
Yeah.
Now, Damian Maia has done amazing things, right? And shown amazing jiu-jitsu in the cage. But when he had his title shot against Anderson Silva in Abu Dhabi, is possibly one of the worst cards I've ever seen. And basically Anderson just ran away the whole fight.
Yeah.
And Damian Maia very unsuccessfully tried to do a million single legs and just didn't get there. And that sucked, man. And actually, Dana White was so mad he almost fired Anderson Silva.
Wow.
Because the Emiratis were like, that was shit. They were just like, that was the worst. And people were booing. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was a horrible fight.
So,
and Silva had a few of those towards the end, didn't he?
Towards the end of his career. But Buchecha's doing so good in MMA. Yeah. Could he, through one championship, become one of the most dominant MMA fighters at heavyweight who was actually a jiu-jitsu champion?
I mean, he's looking like it.
Right.
I mean, Durinho's kind of on that vibe too. But he's older generation jiu-jitsu, isn't he?
No, but he's not. It's not
transitioned.
No, I think he did go to MMA earlier, but I think he could still be champion.
Mackenzie, don't forget Mackenzie.
True. Michelle Nicolini, she fought in one championship for the bantamweight title, I believe, and she lost. Unfortunately, she got punched a lot.
Right.
It's super tough.
Yeah, that happens in MMA.
It does. So, I mean, what is it? For me, huge fan of MMA, bigger fan of jiu-jitsu, would love to see a jiu-jitsu person come through and just fucking kill it.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. Be amazing. And of course it could be done. I suppose the odds are not in favor of that happening, are they?
No.
Because it's like, well, you became the world's best at that thing. For you to be able to transition.
Well, sorry, I should have said Charles DeBronx. He's also a jiu-jitsu guy, even though his striking's great, right? But he's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He was actually very famous for jiu-jitsu even before that. He's got one of the highest submission rates, so we shouldn't leave that out. He is awesome.
Yeah, but different to Buchecha, right? Where Buchecha was the Gordon Ryan of his time.
The GOAT.
Like he was like the best in the game.
Yes.
Whereas DeBronx, like, amazing jiu-jitsu, but is an MMA guy essentially.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it'd be great. I feel a little bit guilty because I don't watch a lot of one, and I caught a little clip the other day of some of Buchecha's highlights.
Yeah.
And man, this guy's tearing it apart.
He's killing.
I gotta get on that shit.
And
guys, join me on this. Get on One Championship.
One
Support
Championship,
them.
let's support it. And also,
I'm still watching UFC. Don't get me wrong.
still going to the pub and getting that free UFC. No, but like just think about Mikey Musumeci, Ty Rotolo.
Yep.
Look at how much they're supporting jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Oh
Right?
yeah.
And
And
now-
they keep the purity. I'm even like, you see some of the highlights of like the Thai boxing match. I'm like, I want to watch the Thai boxing.
Yeah.
It looks sick. I've never wanted to watch Thai boxing before.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like it's making me enthusiastic about these new sports.
Yeah, it's so cool. So, I mean, interesting things are happening, people. Stay tuned.
We're out.
I cut you off.
Thanks, guys.
Look at the time. Look at the time.
We're out.
Done.